lighting's not that fantastic. Oh, you can't see it, but there's steam coming out of my mouth when I breathe. Sun's just coming up. I think it's going to be a lovely day today. I'm not quite sure what the night's going to bring because the nights are pretty exciting so far on the trail. So that is the shelter at the Something Ensign shelter. Didn't sleep in there last night, obviously. We slept in our tent, but I know that Rich from Ohio got in quite late and stayed in there last night. I wonder how he fared because the freezing cold wind, which sounded like the jet plane landing on our tent, was blowing directly in there last night. So I imagine it would have been really, really, really cold. I'm just heading back to our tent. We have packed our packs, got our snacks and breakfast bars out, and I think we're gonna hit the trail pretty quickly. It's just coming up on 7 a.m. Our plan today is to go another 15 miles. I'll give you the stats about that. It's 32 degrees Fahrenheit. We woke up this morning, so I've got my gloves on. Really cold. I'm going to try harder to film a bit more today. Vlogging and the first few days on the trail are a bit tricky. There's a lot going on. It's quite overwhelming, but wonderful. We're going to do one more night in our tent, and then tomorrow, Sunday, we're going to head into town for some food, some supplies, some laundry, and a shower, because I need to wash. First white blaze of the day. Our plan is to, this morning, walk about 5 kilometres, 5 miles I should say, until we have breakfast. Ready to go, Joe? He's ready. He's always more than ready. Wow, look at this.
Hello.
You got the sun on your face, Joe.
I got the sun. It's beautiful. We're walking into it, which is lovely. So this is day 3. So we've done, what's that, 32 miles so far. We'll get another 15 in today till we want to go, maybe a little bit more. First night, massive thunderstorm, lightning and torrential downpour. Tent stayed dry and intact last night. Gale force winds that were relentless all night. It stopped about 6 o'clock, and now we wake up to this. So we've done about about a mile already. So onwards and upwards, and what a day! And our first meadow.
It is our first meadow. Have we mentioned the weather? Oh,
No.
yes, we have.
Yeah, but a meadow, we call those paddocks.
It's a paddock. There's a man standing in a paddock. But look at this. I mean, what a way to start the day. Beautiful. Hang on, I've seen one of these in a video. What's the trick?
Don't presume that they're actually solid and steady.
Okay.
But this is going to be fun. See ya.
I think the trick's not to fall off. That's the trick. Lots of different terrain today. Currently heading down some steep rocky stairs. Gone from a field into quite a lot of rock and some really big large rock faces, large single pieces of rock that are just sitting here in the woods. I get to a little bridge crossing over this beautiful creek. It's gorgeous here. Oh, he's gorgeous. And down We must be going that direction towards our first shelter. Anyway, let's see how I go.
Here comes Bridget. It's a lovely water crossing. We're kind of like used to this. We do it at home quite a lot. But this is actually quite well made. Quite a wide river. Here she comes all the way up. Yep.
Just bumped into Spider and Space Station. Coming up the hill towards our breakfast shelter. They've told us it's best to grab water here, otherwise we'll have to do a 0.25 walk to the water source at the shelter, another 0.25 back. But they said as they came towards us, "Are you the Kiwis?" I'm like, yeah. So clearly our reputation precedes us. And just like that, big bag of water. That's such a welcome sign. Shelter. Just walked about 4.7 miles, I think, this morning. And we're walking towards a shelter whose name I will put on the screen. But we're about ready for some breakfast. And apparently this is a really lovely shelter, so I'm really keen to see it. We bumped into Grambo, who stayed here last night with Spider and Space Station. She said that there was a whole bunch of Boy Scouts camping here last night as well. So there were 4 of them in the shelter, including a guy called Five Stack, who we slept in the same shelter or area as us on the first night. So, I'm coming up towards it now. It looks very smart. Brand new even. And quiet. It looks like everybody has departed, which is not surprising, given that it's, I don't know what the time is. We left at 7:10. It must be about, I'll confirm for you shortly, getting on for 9 o'clock in the morning. Wow, beautiful, new. There's a lovely fire ring. Beautiful flat areas around here for camping. And there's the long drop down there. I refuse to call it a privy. And I'll just have a quick look inside. Oh yeah. Top floor, you could easily fit a couple of people there, and lovely and clean and tidy. And you can see that Deer Lick is 9.6 miles north. I think that's where we're heading tonight, isn't it, Joe?
Yep.
And Ensign Cowell, or Cowell Ensign, 4.9 miles south, is where we stayed last night. We've just come down that. Sometimes there's hiking and sometimes there's just boulder jumping, and that was more boulder jumping. We've just come through the woods. We've come out to this park here, just before the Mason-Dixie line. I can get a name of the park for you. Looks really nice, but we are going to motor on, and just there, about 200 metres ahead of us, is the first Nobo walker that we've seen. So he started at Springer. He was walking so quickly that we didn't even get a chance to catch his name, but he blew past us at speed with a cheery hello. So let's go and have a little look at how far we've got to go to get to Mount Katahdin. We've got 1,080 miles, and that young man that's just walked past us has already walked 920. All power to him. You would think at this point that a park named Penn Ma would clue us into the fact that we were on the Pennsylvania Maryland border. But we carried wandering along, looking for the sign. We knew it was meant to be around here somewhere. In fact, it designates also the delineation between the north and the south, the Mason-Dixie line. So we kept wandering along across the railway looking for the sign that would tell us that we'd finished Maryland and we were ready to enter Pennsylvania. It turns out that the sign has been stolen. Someone's got it hanging on their wall somewhere. So we kept wondering when we were going to find the sign, but we never did. It became apparent later in the day that we actually were in Maryland, in Pennsylvania, but it took us a while to work it out ourselves. Through this pretty town and across another road, and we are still looking for the border crossing to Pennsylvania. It must be really, really close. Packs off, time for a big drink and a snack. We've just walked up a really steep hill, tried to look at far out to work out what it was called. It was straight after that lovely bridge, beautiful bridge, then really steep hill. And a local's just walked through, and I said, "What's that big hill we've just walked up?" And he couldn't remember, so it's going to bug him for the rest of the day. So we're trucking along nicely. It's been a beautiful day of walking. I think we've still got a bit more in us, but we're going to eat and drink some food for some energy and then rock on. Pretty bridge. Ooh, but a busy road. Oh look, we've just come up on Deer Lick cabins with a nice tent pad. We thought that maybe we'd stay here tonight, but in fact it's still really early and it's right on the trail. In fact, the long drop is right on the trail. So how about that? It looks quite nice too, all from the outside. Not that you can tell. Go for a little walk around. This looks like a very tidy set of cabins, doesn't it, Joe? Let's have a look. Deer Lick. Nice table. Looks like a fire pit. And there's, I don't know how many people you'd fit in there, but plenty of people. Look at, they could build a fire with this beautiful outlook. And there's a spring just up there. Do you want to go and grab some water, Joe? Only got 4 miles? I've got plenty of water for 4 miles. Have you? Okay. And look, that's the second shelter. It's just a mirror image. Yeah. Oh, yeah. So would have been perfect in a situation like last night when this icy wind was going straight into the shelter. You could pick your one dependent upon which way the freezing cold wind was blowing. Right. We are gonna head north. So you can see we change of plan. We'd originally decided we'd stay at Deer Lick, which looked really nice. But because it was so early in the day, 2:30, and we're feeling really good, we're just going to press on to the next one, of which name, honestly, it evades me. I've got shelter name, sort of blackout or something. I honestly can't remember the names. which is another 4 miles, so that'll make it 18 miles for the day. But, you know, we're listening to our bodies. Feeling good. Tomorrow the plan is to walk 10 miles to lunchtime and get picked up by a shuttle and go into town, that may be Waynesboro, to have a night in a real bed and get some more food. The food, I thought I'd be starving, but it's actually quite hard to eat out here. You just got to keep on shoving it in your mouth, but don't feel like it. All I want to do is drink hot drinks and soup. But it's a beautiful day today, and the terrain that we're walking on in in Maryland at the moment is really easy to get miles in quickly. So we're just doing that, walking in the woods. It's beautiful. You know it's something good when Joe's drawing on the path. So, what do you got?
Look at that, Bridget.
50 miles.
50 miles, 80 kilometres.
And just in time, there is the sign for the Tumbling Run shelters. Okay, let's go. I'm ready. So what made you choose this spot, Joe?
Sun decking through the trees,
Yeah,
table and chairs,
let's have a look. Oh, we do.
and believe it or not, pretty flat site.
Pretty
Just
flat.
remove some of the sticks.
Right, I better come and help. So we met Dave from Atlanta in what was the Harper's Ferry.
That's right.
Leaving, and Dave, when he's not on the trail, is Dave from Atlanta, but when he is on the trail, well, we thought he was 5 stack, but apparently not. So firstly, can I hello and
Hello.
welcome to the vlog.
Well, thank you.
Can I ask you a question about what's this trail name business? What are trail names?
Well, it's just a name people give each other. People from all walks of life come out on the trail, and it's just fun to get to know them by a trail name. And it's usually something that's given to them. And so generally, if you don't have a trail name, people are watching you and seeing what might be a good name for you. So if you do something silly, that might be the basis for a name. And then eventually, when you have a name, that's how everybody refers to you.
Oh, hang on.
I'm so
Did
sorry
someone
I
just
didn't
throw a
mess up
bottle of
your-
wine? Never mind.
Yes, there's wine. She's had some wine too. Look, they keep coming.
Oh, my stars. There we go. So your trail name, just back to you, back to you, 5 stack. So you have an existing trail name, but you were thinking that maybe a change could be afoot.
Well, yeah, things happen and people make suggestions, and such as this recent couple I met from New Zealand. And
Did you suggest something?
yes, they did, and we were, there's latrines along the trail, and so I heard the reference to a latrine as a long drop, which I think is hilarious being an American, because we don't say that.
Birthday party.
It is hilarious. So I thought that would be a good trail name, and then it was suggested that it be my trail
I
name.
invited the young kids.
And
to
so that's something I'm considering, and I know there's certain connotations that certain non-Americans might have.
Now, but there was another suggestion, I believe, that for a trail name from last night.
Yes, so last night I was in a shelter. It was a really cold night, but I was tenting out. And so the people in the shelter said, well, if you get too cold, come in and we'll all snuggle up and keep each other warm. And so then the phrase, we developed a phrase called a platonic snuggler. And potentially that would be a trail name. And some people said, well, that's too complicated. Some people said that's a better name for a rock band. So I'm kicking that around a little bit too.
So we'll just keep you posted as to whether it's long drop or platonic snuggler
Or if I stay with
or
five
five
stack.
stack. Thank you very
I like
much.
5 stack.
What happened there?
Yes. Birthday party.
Did you
birthday
carry
party too.
that in your
Yes.
pack?
Yes. Yes.
Well done, you.
Thank you. Well, I only carried half, and Bluebird carried the other half.
Excellent. And what's
Yes.
your trail name?
So my trail name's Lone Star.
Lone Star.
Yes.
Is it anything to do with Texas?
It does have to do with Texas. However, I know you said you went to school in Austin. That's the name of Texas is the Lone Star State. And I'm from Texas. However, Bluebird then also said, well, we're traveling north when we were doing our through hike in 2006. So it's perfect because you're going towards the North Star. And I also like to hike sometimes by myself. So she said, it's perfect name for you because you're, a lone person hiking towards the North Star and you're from Texas.
Perfect. There you go. So trail names.
Yeah.
And there we were. 2 through hikers from New Zealand, a section hiker from Atlanta. There was Lone Star and Bluebird, who were celebrating their 70th and 71st birthdays and had through hiked together in 2006. And 2 17-year-old senior high school students from Maryland. And we had a really, really great night.